Good morning, everybody. This is Connor from Futures Analytica bringing you guys another live futures trading session. We're going to be starting the day out here into regression mode. You can see that we are in a very obvious range at this point, and we're going to be arming it in both directions. We are, of course, using the machine learning aspect with the heuristic parameter optimization to consistently change our settings. Hey, Motel Danny, your question was, hi, with the machine learning on, some of the settings in Polarity will constantly change, right? Such as volume, imbalance, and ratio. How to keep those settings unchanged. So the whole purpose of machine learning is to continuously optimize your imbalance ratio, imbalance volume, and adversary detection to give you the best win rate possible. If you don't want those things to happen, if you would like it to stay static, then you can simply disable the heuristic parameter optimization button on the right panel over here. Disabling that will make it so your settings stay static. Hey Baldera, to answer your question, yes, you can use this with a trade copier. You can see here we just got filled into a short position there. It looks like our executions window isn't popping up. Just pulled it up again, guys. So there's my execution. You can see this in live time. These will populate as soon as we get filled into trades. Hopefully we can end up winning this trade.
Target filled.
There we go. We end up winning that one up to 515.74 on the day. First one of the day, that went pretty well, I'd say. Also, guys, with this new update, we are going to streamline the installation process significantly. I want to walk you guys through exactly how that's going to happen. So before we required you guys to manually set everything up in the beginning, and we find that to be pretty cumbersome for a lot of people, and nobody really wants to do that. It also can lead to a lot of confusion and sometimes a higher support load. So what we're going to be doing is that we're going to be exporting our NinjaTrader backup, and I will be sending that directly to you guys. It'll be my backup, and you will to import that into your NinjaTrader, and you'll have all of my workspaces and all of my templates and all of my ATM strategies. What this will allow you to do is simply click on the workspace drop down, and then you'll be able to select from a variety of instruments. And any of those instruments, they'll already be set up, and you will be able to just hop into it. Your indicator and your chart will already be set up. Your strategy won't be loaded onto your chart just because we can't save strategies onto that. But all you have to do is just add that to the strategies panel, and then you can select templates in the strategies panel, and then you'll be able to select from a variety of templates for each instrument, which will be pre-configured.
Order filled.
Want to know what you guys think of this new installation process that we're rolling out, if it's any more or less confusing. It should be much less confusing than before, and it should help a lot. Up to 1,031 on the day there. Hey Mike, your question was, where are you looking to see chat? I can't see the questions. Actually, I'm looking at them right in this form. You asked the question there, so that's where I'm reading the questions from. It's from the form that you submitted to submit that question. Hey Spencer, if your enable button and training button are grayed out in the strategies configuration screen after reinstalling NinjaTrader, that means that you don't have an account selected in the strategies configuration screen, or you're not connected to a data feed. So first ensure that you are connected to one of those, and of course you have the strategy added to your chart.
Order filled.
We just got filled into a long trade here. Let's see if we can end up winning this one.
Target filled.
Looks like we do. We're up to 1,537 on the day now. Also, just to move around my chart trader here to show that this is in fact live.
Order filled.
Just got filled into a short position here. Hey EWJ, your question was, hi Connor, any recommendations concerning platform,
Stop filled.
e.g. CPU and recommended RAM, etc.? So I would say that I do recommend at least 16 gigabytes of RAM for your Ninja Trader platform. We aren't very RAM intensive, but as you can load a very significant amount of data, 16 gigabytes is pretty much the standard. You could probably get away with 8 or 10, but I do suggest 16 if you can splurge for it. Essentially, you do need a 64-bit processor. I'm pretty sure everyone has one at this point. It has to be 2 gigahertz or faster. We aren't very computationally intensive, and you shouldn't have any issues on that end. I do recommend an SSD. This will help just, of course, load everything faster. You will be waiting a little bit longer for everything on startup if you don't have an SSD, but that, again, is not required.
Order filled.
You do need a graphics card, but it does not have to be fancy at all. You can use a 10-year-old graphics card and you'd be fine as long as it's capable of DirectX 10. And other than that, I do suggest a wired internet connection at the very minimum. Wi-Fi is a contributor to a significant amount of internet problems, regardless of how good your Wi-Fi is. I do suggest having a wired connection, irrespective of that fact.
Stop filled.
Looks like that's our second loss in a row. We were up 1,500, now we're down to 878, unfortunately. We are going to keep trying here, and we are going to be keeping it in regression at this point. Grant Pierce asked, hey, I was wondering if this works with copy trading. I have 10 Apex accounts and I copy trade them. These are such quick fills. I wanted to ask if it would still work. Hey, Grant, thank you for the question, and congratulations on getting those 10 Apex accounts. To let you know, yes, it does work with a copy trader. I'm going to assume you're using the Apex copy trader that comes with it, and we have tested on that, and it does work perfectly. One stipulation that you should know is that we have a limit order on button over here. I almost never use this. Some customers do like to use the limit order on button over here. This allows you to have your entries be limit orders instead of market orders. With the trade copier, you cannot use this feature or else you will get some bugs, and I just don't suggest it. But as long as this option's off, you should have absolutely no issues using the Apex trade copier. Hey WJ, thank you for following up again. You're curious if your latency of 200 milliseconds from across the world could present a problem. You're deciding whether to get a VPS in the US. I would say a latency of 200 milliseconds is pretty substantial and does represent some challenges when trading. 200 milliseconds can be actually quite a bit, especially if you don't have server-side market orders enabled. You can actually end up losing maybe 4 or 5 ticks on each trade just from having a 200 millisecond disadvantage. So if you're able to afford it, I'd recommend getting something kind of cheap. It doesn't have to be the best of the best, meaning sub 1 millisecond, but I think it would significantly help. What is nice with automated trading and semi-automated trading is that VPS will actually help you when you are trading across the globe. If you're trading normally and you have a VPS, you still have a latency from your computer to the VPS. It doesn't matter if the VPS latency is low to the exchange if your computer has a latency to your VPS. But with automated trading, just because you are arming it, now all the logic is stored on the VPS, and the latency from your computer to the VPS does not matter anymore. HK Wong, changes in AC4 Plus settings do not affect ML trading results, nor do they affect which trades you are taking. All of the AC4 Plus configuration settings are for your visual information only, like these zones here, and do not affect the trading decisions. Hey Evan, it's Keen Eye. Any particular reason why you've changed from diagonal to horizontal calculation on AC4 Plus? I did this in preparation for exporting this exact template. I found that horizontal would be more consistent with user understanding. My reasons for having it on diagonal were not necessarily out of fact or out of a real theoretical basis for understanding. It was just that I had found it to work. But in order to make it less confusing for the user, and I'm fine with the changes that it's made to that, I've just switched to horizontal. But that's a pretty keen eye, Evan. I don't remember making an announcement about that, but thank you for reminding me because I actually forgot that I had made that change yesterday.
Order filled.
Just got another fill here. It's a short fill. Let's see if we can end up winning this one. We almost got stomped out there, and then consecutively after that, we almost won that trade. But we can see if we can win this one.
Target filled.
There we go. We ended up getting filled on that one. Up to 1900 on the day now.
Order filled. Target filled.
Sorry guys, I was not looking at the screen there. We ended up winning that trade though. We're still keeping it in regression due to this extreme chop and this high entropy. See at 816 we had 0 delta, but we had very positive price movement there. So that is a very strong indicator that we are having a high entropy zone. Of course, at 813 we also had that negative delta with positive price movement. And again, at 816, positive delta, downward price movement. we're just poking out of the zone here, but our trade is pushing us back into it. Let's see if we can win this one. But if we get stopped out and delta stays positive, we may do a quick trend switch here to see if we can end up catching a win.
Stop filled.
Okay, so we are out of that zone now. This is going to be very quick. So if we dip back into this zone, we are going to switch it back into regression mode. But we are going to try and see if we can catch a breakout at this point, just because we lost that trade. Hey Bane, I am using version R8A. Also, guys, it's a pretty good reminder to let you know that the newest update that is going to be coming out for Polarity Machine Learning is only going to function on the latest version of NinjaTrader, which is NinjaTrader version 8.1.2.7, I believe, or 2.1. But just make sure you have the most up-to-date version of NinjaTrader because it will not work on previous platforms such as 8.0.
Order filled. Target filled.
Okay, so we actually ended up winning that trade, even though it's putting us back into this range here, even though we were in trend mode. But I am excited to see that. We are going to be switching back into regression at that point, though, because we're back inside this range. If we get a consecutive downward bar here with consistent negative delta, we'll switch it into trend and see if we can catch maybe a drop at this point.
Order filled.
But it looks like we got filled long. So it looks like our plan has been foiled there.
Target filled.
We end up winning that trade up to 3,100 on the day now. Also, guys, in regards to the prepackaged model in R9B, which is the newest version that's going to be released, that the prepackaged model that is going to be included with that is the version that I'm going to be using on the streams. Of course, with incremental learning, but it is the same model with the same indicators. Hey, how's it grow? Yes, I did change my chart settings, and this is working better for me. The indicator settings themselves with imbalances and what those are calculated at, besides, of course, the horizontal imbalance calculation method that another user pointed out earlier. It hasn't changed the structural analysis of the chart, but it's made it much more visually clear for me, and it's easier to look at. So I found it to be helpful, and it will be included in that newest update with the template.
Order filled.
Just got filled into a long trade here.
Target filled.
We end up winning that trade up to $3,600 on the day. Hey Grant, your question was, I've watched a lot of your videos and it looks like you have tested a lot of different ranges. Is there a reason why you switch it up? So what I'm going to assume you mean by this
Target
is
filled.
switching between our range at the top left. So like we're on 31 range currently. With ES and NQ, I have been pretty standard with the ranges that I choose. On ES, I use 15 range almost very consistently. I don't think I've ever switched off of that. And on NQ, I've been on 31 range for quite some time. At one point, I was on 32 range, but that was actually an error. 31 range is the correct number just because the way that these range bars are calculated, they add an additional tick to the end. So we actually want to have 32 ticks per bar of movement. Um, so 33, which is what we'd have if we had set to 32, would be incorrect. But I have been pretty consistent with the ranges that I choose. That at least that's what I assume that you're talking about. Let me know. But on those videos where I'm switching it up, please verify that I am trading the same instrument as the other videos you've watched if you're curious about what range I'm using. Hey Donna, your question was what time do you recommend to leave learning active or always keep it active? So Donna, I'm gonna need some more clarification for your question. When you reference machine learning, I'm not sure if you're referencing heuristic parameter optimization or training mode. And those two are very different when answering this question. But whenever I'm trading, I always have heuristic parameter optimization on. There isn't really a time when I turn it off or a time when I turn it on. So if that's not what you mean, let me know. Very range bound day today here. We've almost stayed within this exact same range all the way since 7:45. So it's pretty easy. We don't really have any switches that we've had to make. And even that one trend switch was unnecessary. We just got a little bit gritty there, but pretty easy day to trade today. Hey Denver, your question was should overwrite always be checked when using incremental learning? So overwrite is only used when in training mode. It's not used when in optimized mode, and of course, incremental learning can only be used in optimized mode. So that wouldn't actually have an effect there, but only if you want to overwrite your previous model when training it should that be checked. Hey Grant, thank you for the question, which is you're trading 7 contracts today. But what would be the lowest you would go to make it worthwhile with fees and everything? So with this strategy, I found that even on micro contracts, which have a higher commission per contract, of course, with that leverage, with effective leverage factored in, it's still effective. So there isn't really a minimum. I'd say that there is a maximum that exists though, in terms of other players on the market seeing you and now actually targeting you. Um, so you can see at these levels here, uh, there's only 15 contracts traded at these 4 ticks, 21 at these 4 ticks, 7 at these 4 ticks, 9 at these 4 ticks. So even my order is actually moving the market. Of course, with futures trading, we're actually moving around a significant amount of money when using these contracts because of how leveraged we are. So NQ, I believe, is $50 per tick, I think. I may be completely incorrect about that, actually. I'm gonna have to double check. I know ES is 12.5 times 4 is 50. So, sorry, $20 per tick. So the notional value of what we're trading is in the millions for 7 contracts. So keep that in mind. You are actually throwing around a bit more money than you may think in the market when you're trading futures contracts. Also, guys, to answer your question about, sorry, not to answer your question, but just to let you guys know that with Polarity and with AC4 Plus, we have a way to trade the order flow contract data for full mini size contracts, even if you're trading micros. So it's just a simple checkbox. So if you're trading MES, you'll have that enabled and it'll show the order flow contract data for minis, and it will trade off of that order flow contract data, not just the micros, because the micros don't actually have accurate order flow data if you were not aware. But that is actually a pretty important aspect of trading with a small account, and it would be nice to actually do a order flow trading series with a small account again, I think, to highlight that. We just got filled long here. Hey George, mention what your question was. I was looking at Apex and they say on the PA accounts, bots and algos do not work. And does that include your bot? So our software in Apex's eyes does not constitute a bot or an algo because there is still the user active, the user required input, which is to arm the strategy and to switch between regression and trend. Of course, the actual reasoning behind Apex's rules on that is to prevent latency and news arbitrage, which costs them money. So this bot does not do that. So it is not actually banned in Apex's eyes. I've confirmed this directly to them, and I've never seen a single player user get banned from Apex or have their strategy canceled just for using the strategy.
Target filled.
We end up winning that trade. We're up to $4,800 on the day now. I think we're going to be calling it there. But to answer this one last question, which was, hey, what do you have your ATM strategy set to? From what I can see, target isn't that long, and stop seems to decrease after a certain amount of move up. I'm on your live stream. Do you mind showing it or explaining it? Absolutely, sir. So our strategy is a 16 stop loss and a 16 take profit. But the most important part is we have a stop strategy. This stop strategy has a profit trigger of 11 with a plus of -8. I know that may be confusing, but if you have your NinjaTrader opened up, you can confirm this for yourself on what exactly I mean. And that's going to be in the auto break-even dropdown. But that's how we have it set up. And we don't have MIT for profit enabled anymore. But we are going to be calling it there. Thank you guys for tuning in today. And I do appreciate all of the wonderful questions you guys have asked today. And hope you all have a wonderful rest of your week. You'll be hearing from me shortly later today.